This is a new one. This is called Spit It Out.
On September 29, 1998, Slipknot left Des Moines, Iowa, for Indigo Ranch Studios in Malibu, California, anxious to record an album after a long wait to be signed. They released the demo to prospective labels and producers. The track Spit It Out was the main focus of the demo, and with help from their manager Sophia John, they were able to get a copy of the demo to Ross Robinson. The band wanted him to work with them on their debut album, and soon after meeting with the band, Robinson helped sign them to Roadrunner Records. This is where we hear for the first time Corey Taylor that became a voice of Slipknot. On the record, Corey sounded like something no one has heard before. The intensity and aggression was next to none. His unhinged delivery and seemingly total disregard for his voice and vocal health are astounding. The majority of material consisted of aggressive vocals with some melody and little bit of rap throughout the record. But surprisingly, Corey could deliver the same intensity, if not more, in his live performances as well. His performance of that era was very animated, and vocals sometimes were taking a back seat, as he was too busy jumping around. Surprisingly, he still sounded quite well.
I can see, I can feel, over and over, all of my skin, all at the tension, you're in the end, mark it all, on this one, fuck everything I do that for. No fear, no easy, don't give a shit, never judgment.
I have to note that to me personally, Corey Taylor's vocals on the whole album are phenomenal, and I think are the best work he has ever done. There was dynamic and versatility, angst and honesty. The ratio of melody, rap and aggressive vocals were just right for the type of sound they were going for at the time. In my opinion, this album contains the best screaming vocals in metal music to this day. To me, there is simply no comparison. Corey did not concern himself with the technical side of his performance, like so many do these days. It's as if his performance came directly from his gut. But I believe that was just the surface of things he wanted us to see, because if he didn't use any technique whatsoever to support his voice, he wouldn't have made it through a single show. In 2001, Slipknot released their sophomore album, Iowa, also produced by Ross Robinson, and what a follow-up that was. Many argue it's the heaviest Slipknot album to date and one of the heaviest metal albums of all time. Corey Taylor describes the recording process and the era of Iowa as the darkest time in his life. It wasn't just Corey, the entire band was falling apart and everyone was going through various degrees of personal problems, alcohol and all of the sudden success, and the disgusting reality of the recording industry, which led the band to a decision to make the heaviest album they could, instead of taking things in a more commercial direction, like many expected of them. Recording process was intense. It is a well-known fact that Corey recorded the 15-minute song Iowa naked, and while recording he was cutting himself and covered his body in his own vomit.
Obviously I was a little fucked up when I recorded it. Stripped naked. I wish you could have seen Clown's face. He was in the fucking control room, and there's like this little window in the fucking control room, and I just start taking it off. And he's just like... I only sang the song twice, to be honest. And in doing that twice, I broke like every piece of glass that I could find and then started cutting myself up. And you can hear me actually on the recording doing that. Like you can hear me like with every cut, with every scream. Like it was almost like method at that point, you know? Like I wanted to go so fucking deep into it that I was willing to go past the point of no return, but I wanted to do it to myself, you know? And I got done, and I'm basically cleaning myself up, and Clown just comes in, and this is coming from Clown, okay? One of the most fucked up individuals I've ever met. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? And I'm like, this coming from the guy who shits in his hand and throws it at us. Go fuck yourself.
Overall, Corey's delivery has little change since their debut. The aggressive vocals still take the majority of his parts. The amount of rap has reduced. However, there seems to be slightly more melody to his delivery. His live performances were still as good as they were in '99, though Corey became slightly more static and actually took a little more time to perform his parts and a little less time jumping.
I'm not the fucking wave, and I hear the single again on Tokyo. I am the great big man. I am the great big man. Pump your fucking fist in the air, come on. What the fuck is up? Get the fuck away. Run if you want to. You're gonna get shot in the devil on you.
In contrast, in 2002, Stone Sour released their debut album with Corey Taylor behind the mic. The album surprised many, as this record was quite different to what Slipknot was.
Wish I was too dead to care, if indeed I cared at all. Never had a voice to protest, so you fed me to digest. I wish I had a reason, my flaws are up in season. For this I gave up trying, one good turn deserves my time. You don't need to bother.
With Stone Sour, Corey was able to show his song and melody writing ability to a much greater extent, as well as show what his singing voice was really capable of. Apart from Corey having much more room to breathe when it comes to melody, his delivery has not significantly changed, though, of course, to accommodate the Stone Sour sound, Corey comes across as more of a hard rock singer rather than a metal one. This will be it for today's episode. Next time, when we return to Corey, is when a significant change in his voice will be apparent. Until then, goodbye.